Good afternoon, guys.
What's up?
Everyone who's watching from New Zealand, from the US, from the Philippines, welcome to another episode of the Bigote Brothers podcast.
Welcome.
We are deep in the playoffs once again, and I think the big story is Boston losing Jayson Tatum.
That's crazy.
Prayers up. Yeah.
That's crazy. Boss, Jayson
What
Tatum.
happened? It was
Yeah,
terrible.
he was. I think they were. Tatum had 42 points at the time,
Yeah.
and they were trying to catch up to the Knicks, and then he planted. He tried to pass or tried to move forward across the screen or something like that, and then he
Chased a
planted.
loose ball, I think. Yeah.
Yeah, he was trying to plant his right leg. He was trying to explode off it, and then he just crumbled. So that was pretty sudden, really. So
Yeah.
the replays, there was an angle of the replay that showed he's wearing a sleeve on his right calf, right?
Mhm.
So there was a replay that showed it vibrate a little. It was
Oh.
there was a similar one to when
Yeah.
KD had his injury back in the day.
Mhm.
So you could see that the muscle just obviously just shoots up because the Achilles has been severed.
Yeah.
So
Yeah.
yeah, everybody knew at the time, but yeah, it's been
Yeah.
confirmed. Jason Tatum went Jason Tatum went successful surgery on his Achilles, and he's gonna be out for obviously the rest of the playoffs. And God, who
Yep.
knows how long that takes? Probably a year to recover.
Eager to recover fully. We've seen Kobe, not be the same after an Achilles injury. So I don't know. May we're probably looking at a timeline of late next season if the Celtics make the playoffs. Um, but that's minimum. That's minimum.
I think he's gonna be out the whole next season, and
Bro,
probably he's
could
gonna
be,
return
yeah.
the season after that, which
Mhm.
kind of poses some questions to Boston, right? So obviously
Right.
they
Yeah.
have a huge salary when it comes to their team, and they're gonna look. I don't want to say it's over right now. Obviously, they're gonna go into a game 6
Right.
in the Garden today, and who knows what's gonna happen. Obviously, if Boston gets hot from 3, anything is
Yeah.
possible, right? But the thing is, you lose your best player, and that's just terrible for your chances. Last game they had probably they had a little bit of adrenaline going, right?
Right.
And that's why they kind of they played great, by the way. Luke Cornett, man, Luke Cornett was amazing.
Yeah.
He was great.
I'll say they played great. A little bit of help from the refs too.
Sure, I get that, right?
Right.
I think
I was watching the game with my high school kids, with my high school students, last Wednesday night at work, and there was one play that was pointed out where late in the fourth quarter, I think it was Jalen Brown goes in for a drive, and Brunson just has his hands up, and the refs call a foul.
I think the
Yeah.
calls were, there was a little bit of home cooking there. I get it, but
Right,
but,
right.
but fair game to Luke Cornett, man. He played
Oh,
amazing.
yeah, Luke
I think
Cornett,
he had
yeah.
6 or 7 blocks in that game,
Right.
and he just and the thing
Yeah,
is, Porzingis got benched because of how good Cornett was playing.
right. Yeah.
Right? And he was amazing, man. I think he's a great piece. Hopefully, he finds more time. I do think this signals the end of the Porzingis era in Boston. Obviously, they're gonna make a lot of changes in the offseason. I think that's one of
Right.
them. Drew Holiday being another.
Yeah.
So, yeah, it's gonna be a tricky season for them, especially if Tatum is gonna be out for at least one season.
Right.
Now, the silver lining in all of this is Tatum was 27 when this happened. Okay, Kobe
Yeah.
was in his, I believe, Kobe was he 34, 33 when
Yeah.
he tore his. KD was 30 when he tore his
Yeah.
as well. What I've noticed is that Jason Tatum tore his right Achilles, similar
Right.
to what KD tore as well.
To KD, yeah.
Right, so Kobe tore his left one when he was trying to drive.
Yeah.
And we obviously saw how Kobe was when he returned from his Achilles injury.
Right.
But I do think Tatum, with sports medicine nowadays, I think he should be able to come back. I wouldn't
Oh, yeah.
expect him to be the same player, obviously. KD was never
No.
the same,
No.
right?
No.
He was still, but KD was a much better shooter than Tatum, arguably.
Right. Mm-hmm.
So I do think this is gonna spell the end of whatever window the Boston Celtics have now.
Mm-hmm.
So whenever Tatum goes back, it's definitely gonna be a different team. And I don't know. I mean, obviously we're Lakers fans. We're rooting against the Leprechauns, but yes, prayers up to Jayson Tatum. Hope he gets well soon.
Yep.
I did see something. Okay, so you know that Jayson Tatum has always kind of copied people, right? You know that.
Oh yeah.
You know he copied.
Yeah.
He had that moment where he copied KG. Yeah, he had this moment where he copied a lot more people. I don't mean to joke,
What
but
are you gonna say now?
you know, wait, here's the weird thing. So Kobe went down. He went down with the same time left on the clock as when Kobe went down.
Yeah.
That's crazy.
Crazy,
I know
yeah,
that's
yeah.
unintentional. That's
Yeah.
a coincidence, but that's still crazy, right?
Crazy, yeah.
So now what do we think? So
That
they're
time,
going in a
that time that he played a playoff game with the purple wristband or purple, elbow band or something.
yeah. He's a big
Yeah.
Kobe fan. I got it.
Yeah.
I think a lot of us wanted him on the Lakers, but probably not anymore, bro. That's. I mean, I feel bad for Jayson Tatum. He's only 27. I hope he gets
Yeah.
better. I hope he gets
Right.
back much better. But I think this is the end of All-Star Tatum. We're never gonna see this great of a Jayson Tatum game
Right.
ever again. I think that's
Yeah.
unfortunate.
He was on his way. The unfortunate thing is he was on his way to delivering one of an iconic Boston Celtic playoff performance.
Yeah, that's pretty good. I think they had a chance to win that game, really.
Yeah.
So obviously that's all gone now. But we're going to Game 6. We're going to Game 6, but it's in the Garden. Now, what do you think's gonna happen now? Is this over?
History's on the Knicks side, like especially going into their home court. I think it's about time. The Knicks do deserve a spot this far in the playoffs. I don't think they haven't played in late. They haven't extended the season to late May in so long.
I really want to
Yeah.
see them. I want to see them.
Yeah, I wanna see them,
I'm just
yeah.
being selfish here. I want to see them be in the conference finals, right? And I want to see them face the Indiana Pacers. Really, okay? So I want to see this legendary rivalry once again come up. So obviously, they met in the second round last year.
Yeah,
The Pacers won in 7. We all
Yeah.
know that. They've faced each other multiple times in the past. They faced each other a total of 8 times, really, in the past. But the Pacers have won most of them. So apart from, I think the most memorable ones, I would say, would be the one in '99 in the lockout year. The one where they, so the 8 seed Knicks really
Knicks,
upset the Pacers then in '99.
Right.
Patrick Ewing was, I believe, injured around that. I think he had a broken hand or something, and he wasn't playing. And this was the time when the Knicks were really on a Cinderella run, right? This was. Do you remember that Allen Houston shot?
Yeah, the one-hander. Yeah.
Against the Heat. And then they eventually went to the finals to lose in 5 against the Spurs.
5 against the Spurs. Yeah. Avery Johnson.
The Avery Johnson baseline shot. Yeah, that's right. And then the 2001. The 2001 where the Pacers won to face the Lakers in that year. Right?
Yeah.
That was probably the end of that's probably the end of the Knicks as we knew it back then, before they came back. Right.
Yep.
Because they had that stretch where obviously they had the Ewing Miller rivalry. They had that. They had that. How many points did Reggie score in 8 seconds?
The 8 points in 15 seconds.
Yeah, that one with the choke, with the choke side too, right? That was the iconic one.
Yeah.
And then they had
the one before that where he scored 25 in the fourth quarter, I think.
the clutch.
He was drawing at Spike Lee.
I miss that, man. I miss that. I
Yeah.
know Reggie's back in broadcasting right now, but
Right.
that's what I want to see. Them joining in the playoffs again
Yeah.
with each other.
Hmm.
So we're probably gonna see an Indiana New York Knicks matchup. We're gonna save this for another day,
Yeah.
as far as our predictions in that one. But I'm really excited. I hope that happens. Not just because we hate the Leprechauns really, but I want to see this rivalry again. Really.
Right. Yeah.
So that's the East. Now let's go to the West. We
Mhm.
all know Minnesota has advanced,
Yep.
and what do you think about that last game? So obviously Golden State was facing an elimination game in Minnesota,
Right. Uh-huh.
and Steph Curry was missing, and
Yep.
he was well. There were reports saying that Steph would have played in Game 6 had they won that. Had that series been extended, Curry would have played in Game 6, and who knows what would have
Wow.
happened there. But
Yeah.
what do you think about the Golden State performance in that elimination game?
Wow. It's 5 games too, huh?
Yeah, so they lost in
Hmm.
5. And that last game was pretty. Look, man, I was disappointed really in how
Uh-huh.
Jimmy Butler played in that game.
Yeah. Yeah. He only scored. He scored 7. He scored 17. You know. He was. But like he was minus 17
Yeah,
that game.
he was really passive.
So
He was really passive
yeah.
that game, and he
Numbers wise, it was good. I mean, 17, 6 and 6, 3 steals. But I mean, I don't know. He kind of looked. He didn't look like he was there, especially on defense. I guess you know because like if you're on the floor, you give up 17. You know, it's like it's a story that the numbers don't tell you.
yeah, it was. I think so obviously Jimmy's being given a lot of money for this. He's essentially their third star, right? And
Mhm.
some of the takeaways that I have from that game really are that I was disappointed in how Jimmy was. He was pretty passive in that game.
Yeah.
I was expecting him to take a lot more chunk of the offense there.
Uh huh.
That's one. And another is that, dude, Jonathan Kuminga is a stud, bro. He
Yeah.
was he and Pods were essentially carrying that team
Pods
that
are
game,
the ones who carried the team. Yeah, 28,
right?
28,
And
26. Yeah.
for someone who has essentially been benched by Steve
Mhm.
Kerr, Kuminga just showed why he belongs in the league. And
Yeah.
reports are that he's probably played his last game as a Warrior. But the thing is, he's going to be a restricted free agent. The Warriors
Yeah.
can
But,
match.
yeah, but look at this though. Like Kuminga played 32 minutes off the bench. Trace Jackson Davis, who was the other starter, played 7 minutes.
Yep.
You could might as well started Kuminga.
Yeah, no, I mean
Yeah,
they really
yeah.
lack the Warriors really lack a big man as well, just
Yeah.
like the Lakers do. And losing
Right.
Curry essentially
Mhm.
exposed that fact. A lot of
Mhm.
things, a lot of problems in this Golden State roster was being hidden by the fact that Steph Curry is amazing.
Yeah.
The fact that he went down, they had to. Well, their motion offense didn't really work anymore, right?
Yeah.
Because
Now
that's
they're exposed. Yeah.
yeah, that's all predicated on the fact that Steph Curry attracts so much attention. The gravity of
Mhm.
that he has on the court is just on another level, and all these
Right.
guys benefit from that. But the
Yeah.
fact that he wasn't playing just, you know, it made their offense really useless.
Right.
That's not a Steve Kerr really. That's
Mhm.
just how the roster is constructed. It's constructed around
Yeah.
Steph Curry, and if he's gone, he's not available. That's
Mhm.
what you get. And they just
Yeah.
ran into a better team, really.
Right.
And I am so proud of Julius Randle of how
Oh.
he's played in these playoffs.
Oh yeah.
I've definitely had my times of just shitting on the guy because obviously I wanted him to be great on the Lakers, right?
Yeah.
But he's always the problems that he had with the Lakers, they seem to be gone now. He's playing a lot
Yeah.
more in control.
He's
He's
mature. He's matured so much.
so much, yeah. I
Yeah.
think
Mhm.
he's taking that next step really, and we all thought that this was a bad trade for the
Right.
Wolves, just because of the redundancy with Gobert and Randall, who
Yeah.
was a
Uh-huh.
defensive threat, but he's been great, man.
Oh yeah. Mm-hmm.
They wouldn't reach this point without Julius Randle playing like this, and if they're gonna reach the finals, he has to keep this up because He's playing
Yeah.
really well, and
Hmm.
you can see that him and Edwards are really fit well together.
Hmm.
So we'll see what happens.
And
Because
props to Rudy Gobert as well. Like people were writing off that the Utah Minnesota trade is one of the worst
yeah, exactly.
because of but now he's found his rebirth
Right.
with
Yeah,
in this playoffs.
two straight Western Conference Finals trips. That's not a fluke.
Yeah.
Right?
No.
That's not a fluke anymore. These Wolves
Yeah.
are for real.
Hmm.
So this is going to be an exciting next series.
Yep.
But especially because of the fact that in the other series in the Western
Ooh.
Conference, we got the two greatest words in sports, baby.
Game
Game
7.
7. How about
Yeah.
that?
Game 7 between the Thunder and the Nuggets. Woo.
Game 6.
Yeah.
Every game in here in this series has been
Mhm.
great.
Mhm.
Apart from that game 2, right, where
Right.
where the Thunder just bitch slapped the
Yeah.
Nuggets.
Yep.
But apart from that, it's been great. So
Mhm.
game 5, the OKC came back from a big
Yeah.
lead.
Right.
I thought Denver had that in the bag. I
Mm.
thought Denver was gonna close that
Yeah.
series out in
Right.
6, right? And then, dude, they came back. OKC came back, and then here in Game 6, um, the pressure's on Denver. Nikola Jokic, amazing.
Mhm. Yep.
Did you see that pass he had? He had a behind the back, over the head pass to
Oh,
Christian Brown.
yeah.
That was just, man. It's such a pleasure seeing that guy
Jokic.
play basketball.
Yeah.
Right? It's like he's so unathletic. He's so slow,
Yep.
but he's so good, man. He kind of
He's
reminds
so
me of
smart.
those. He kind of reminds me of those old guys on the pickup court, where those
Yeah.
dudes move so slow, but they're just so good.
But they just find people, they're smart. It's just smarts. It's just he's such a high IQ player. Like he just knows how to make an impact. Like uh and the way, he finds his teammates. And remember, this is a guy that's not phased. He's not phased by home court advantage or anything. Remember that interview? He's like, "What do you mean? Like, why should I be scared? I played in Serbia." And then they cut to a scene of basketball in Serbia where everyone's like, they're lighting flares, and
Yeah,
they're
man.
all like
He,
they're all like chanting in unison.
he came from a rough place. He doesn't care about all that. I
Yeah,
mean, this is playing in America is paradise for him. With
yeah,
how he's played in Europe, it's much more hostile,
right.
right? So I don't think pressure is an issue for him. It just
No,
needs to.
not for them. Yeah,
OKC has defended him very well in this series,
yeah.
I think. But OKC's also been given a lot of leeway when it comes
Oh
to
yeah,
fouls, man. It's just
yeah.
look, I like OKC because of the fact that Alex is on the team,
Right.
but I just can't stand how they play,
Ah.
especially Shea Gilgis Alexander, FTA for short.
Uh-huh.
He's not SGA, he's FTA.
FTA.
He just look, man. There was this one play where I think it was in a 1 versus 1v or 2v4 fast break where
Right.
Shea just dove forward and they called the
Uh,
foul, and you can see
foul,
Jamal
yeah.
Murray just acting out. Come on, man.
Yeah.
We he's a very good player, Shea is, but
Mm.
I just hate the flopping, man. I don't think it has any place in the sport. It's just horrible to
No.
watch.
It's horrible to watch.
And
And
he
here's another thought that came up. Like, if, let's say, for example, if OKC doesn't go all the way, so they're back to the drawing board, right?
Mm.
Um, I think Luke Dort could be an expendable piece now.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, yeah, because teams are gonna want that type of player. 3 and D.
Yeah.
So I think his contract's expiring.
Yeah, would
Is- yeah,
would the Thunder want to pay him? Really, is this the
yeah.
question, right?
Right. Yeah, yeah. I know. SJ's a max player by this time,
Yep.
so he could be an expendable piece.
That's always been the problem for this OKC team, right? So they've been
Mhm.
stockpiling a lot of draft picks, as we know, and they
Right.
have this young core. But
Mhm.
I think this is similar to uh, my 49ers, right? When Brock
Mm.
Purdy was on a rookie deal, when that,
Right.
that I think less than a million or something crazy like that.
Yeah.
They had a chance to build around him, and they had this window to win.
Yeah.
Obviously, they failed, right? As
Mm.
much as I hate to admit it, they failed. And now
Mm.
Brock Purdy is due for a big payday, and now they have to retool
Yeah.
around him because you're gonna lose some depth
Right.
now. And we just saw that when Debo left,
Yeah.
right? So there might be more moves. We don't know if Trent is gonna play still. He's being paid a lot as well. So
Mm.
there's the OKC Thunder are on the same path now. They have this
Yeah.
window to win, while Holmgren is on a rookie deal. Jalen Williams is on a rookie deal.
Right.
When everybody earns their money, and they will get paid. They should get
Mm.
paid. What are they gonna do now? What's gonna happen?
Right.
So luckily for them, they have all these draft picks that they can move around. But again, the quality players that they have now, they either have to pay them or get get strapped by the apron rules, which is gonna
Right.
make their lives a lot harder.
Right.
So they probably have a small window to win with this team, and
Yep.
I would say this is their best chance given how the East is.
Yeah. Yeah.
They're probably the top contenders now. If they can pull this
Mhm.
off against the Nuggets in Game 7,
Right.
I would
Mhm.
say that they have a great chance of winning. I think at this point, whoever wins the West is probably going to win it all.
It's probably gonna win the championship. Yeah.
Yep. So we'll see what happens there. Now, speaking of
Mhm.
Denver, our old friend Russell Westbrook is on their some trouble again. so
Yeah.
so apparently some anonymous player spoke to ESPN about Russell Westbrook being immature,
Hmm.
and obviously we've seen this in the Lakers. There was this infamous article of him being a vampire when he left. That was just crazy.
Yeah.
So, but Russell has, I think, look, Russell is gonna be Russell. That's just who he is. He's not gonna
Yeah.
be that. He's feast or famine really at this point in his career. But do you think
Right.
it's fair that he's being labeled like this, or do you think there's a valid reason why he's being called out like this? What do you think about
I
the
think.
the, the anonymous player
Mm.
saying this to the press?
Uh, okay, let's face it. Russell Westbrook has not has. I mean, this is probably the biggest game of his career at this point. He's been in the finals. He's a playoff fixture. We've seen him in the playoffs, different teams. But we have not seen him take over when it matters.
Mm.
We have not seen Russell Westbrook be that player who you can count on in the fourth quarter when you're down. Just give him the ball and get the hell out of the way.
Yep.
We have not seen that from him. We've seen a lot of meltdowns from him in the playoffs, particularly with OKC, and to a certain extent, the Clippers. But we've not seen him take over. It's and I guess at this point maybe it's a maturity issue. I don't know, but he's been fantastic in some games. Some games he's been absent.
Yeah, and look,
But when he's good, he's good. That's the thing with him. Like you're right, it's feast or famine with him at
Yep.
this point. Yeah.
he's been really horrible the last 4 games. Really,
Yeah. Yeah.
it's just typical Russell Westbrook at this time of
Yeah.
year. And
Yeah.
I know we love him. We love him really. We love watching him, but it's just
Right.
tough seeing him like this. And
Mhm.
it's just I think it's crazy that this story came out right before an
Yeah.
elimination game. You know what I
Uh-huh.
mean? That's
Yeah.
just wild. So
Yeah.
I think he's probably gone after this.
After this.
I don't think he's gonna get brought back, especially if the Nuggets lose.
Uh-huh.
I hope to see him on another team, but at this
Uh-huh.
point, this is probably who he is. He's not gonna change
Yeah.
for anybody.
I mean, he's already been he's been with so many teams. He's been with OKC. He's been with the Wizards, the Lakers, Clippers, and Rockets. But that is who he is. That's who. At this point, like, we've he started his career in OKC, and yeah, it's like that that was a promising team. KD, Westbrook, James Harden. Then they kind of broke up that team, and then then there was this thing between Westbrook and KD. But at this point, yeah, like we've seen him in different teams: Rockets, Clippers, Denver, Lakers. Like this, really who he is. Like at this point, it's
Yeah,
just who he is.
he's gonna have a lot of turnovers. He's gonna take bad shots.
Yeah,
Um, he's gonna create you a lot of. He's gonna create some advantages as well.
right.
Don't get me wrong. He's a great offensive rebounder, and he's shown
Yeah.
that in this series.
Mm-hmm.
But again, he's feast or famine. He's gonna give you two. He's gonna give you offensive rebounds and 2 points, but then run back on the other side of the floor and give the other team 3 points.
Right.
So that's just how Russell Westbrook is.
Yeah.
And unfortunately, yeah, if they lose this, and I'm guessing he's probably gone.
Mm-hmm.
I don't think he's worth the trouble at this point. I hope he ends up in some place where he can just play, maybe attacking team or something like that. Speaking of that, we're gonna talk about attacking later, but
Yeah.
that's just how it is with Russell Westbrook now.
Mm-hmm.
So yeah, I mean, what do you think? So they have a game 7 in OKC.
Yep. Mm-hmm.
What do you think's gonna happen in that game?
Okay, Denver has the championship experience. OKC has the athleticism. It's gonna be wild. It's gonna be wild, to say the least. But, I mean, momentum's clearly on Denver's side. Jokic is, I think Jokic is gonna have a monster game. I think at the end of the day, the Nuggets are gonna be in the conference finals.
Oh, you get your Nuggets here.
Yeah.
Okay, all right.
Yeah.
I think it's gonna be Nuggets as well, just because of all of the stuff that you mentioned.
Yeah.
The X factor here, I hate to say it, is gonna be the refs, man. There's gonna be the refs. How physical are they gonna allow Denver to play?
To play, yeah. Mm.
Right? If they call the silly fouls that they did, and there was this one play, Chet was on a fast break, and he was driving down the hole, and just he glides past Jokic, but he kind of leans forward, so he falls horribly. But it's all his fault. He initiated all the contact.
Yeah.
Foul on Jokic. Two free
Wow.
throws. Chet. It's crazy how the refs have allowed OKC to play this way. And if that's the case, then it's gonna be tough for Denver to win here.
Right.
But based on, I think Jokic is gonna have a great game, and we saw a play of Jamal last time.
Yes.
We saw a play of Jamal in this game 6. He was great. I think he had I don't know 10 or 12 in the third quarter or something like that. Him and Julius Strawther just came in off the bench and just provided that spark. He was one of the reasons why the Nuggets won that game.
They won the game, yeah.
Yeah, right. So they're gonna have to step up if the refs are gonna just gonna let OKC get away with all this stuff. And Michael Porter Jr. has to be better. I know he's dealing with a bum shoulder right now.
Yeah.
But there were so much opportunities that he threw away in that last game. He's been struggling, really.
Yep.
So the Denver Nuggets need him to perform if they want to advance. Because I give them a good. I think whoever wins this series is probably gonna be in the finals.
True.
And here we are again doubting the Wolves. All I'm saying is that OKC is in a different level. But Denver is also on another one. I like the way Wolves are playing right now, but I gotta give the edge to whoever wins this series.
Right. And let's say the Nuggets don't win at all this year. Though that window's closing in on them too.
I think it's probably close. It's probably their last year, I would say.
Right.
So
and what will prove it is that they won that 2022 championship because they had two pieces on that team that they let go, Bruce Brown and KCP.
The 3 and D they're essentially missing right now.
Yeah.
So they have great young guys, Peyton Watson, and we mentioned Julius Strawther. Christian Brown is really good. But KCP, Bruce Brown was just they were the reasons why they got there in the first place. And right now they're paying Michael Porter Jr. a lot of money. They're paying Aaron Gordon a lot of money. And they're paying Jamal Murray a lot of money. And all of those three have struggled this year. All those three have struggled at some point in the playoffs. Jamal has been hurt. I know, I understand. But yeah, I think this is probably I would give them one more year, really, just
Mm-hmm.
because of how good Jokic is, and he's been
Right.
really, really good.
Yeah.
But their window's closing. Yeah, as you said, you're right. I think their window's closing. Now,
Yeah. Mm-hmm.
speaking of windows closing, there was this big window that closed recently.
Mm-hmm.
Greg Popovich officially stepping down
Pop. Yeah.
as a head coach. Pop is done
Yeah.
coaching. Obviously,
One of the
he had that
greatest
stroke.
coaches.
One of the
Yeah.
greatest coaches. He had that stroke recently. This year,
Yep.
he essentially had handed over the coaching reins, and he's officially done that
Right.
now. There was a press conference. It was really tough to watch
Yeah.
as someone as old as us watched him a
Yeah.
lot of years.
Mhm.
You had Timmy and Manu there with him. That was
Right.
nice,
Yeah.
and you can see that Pop is still struggling. There's no way
Mm.
he can be on the
Yeah.
coaching
No.
sideline
No way.
moving
Yeah.
forward.
Yeah. Mhm.
Yeah, all the best to Pop in his new role.
Yep.
I'm guessing this is more of a honorary role to begin with.
Right.
I
Right.
hope Pop just rests really.
Yeah.
You know, uh,
I think it's yeah. I think it's gonna be better for his health that he's in the front office. Rather than having that all that pressure. Being on the sidelines.
yeah,
But the brilliant thing about Pop is he's equally a great executive, as great as he is a coach.
yeah, exactly.
The way he's able to find players out of nowhere and just find those diamonds in the rough is crazy.
He's great.
Yeah,
I think he's one of
he's
the
great.
pioneers of that European movement, right?
Right.
So he scouted a lot of international players. Obviously, the Spurs. That's what they're known for,
Right.
really.
Yeah.
So the scouting that they have with international players, we've seen Manu because of that. We've seen
Right.
Tony Parker, Boris Diaw.
Hmm.
We saw Corey Joseph. We saw so much of these European Patty Mills. Sorry, I forgot Patty Mills.
Patty Mills. Yeah.
Olympic Patty. So
Mm.
those are all products of
Nando
Pop.
De Colo, Thiago Splitter,
Scola was Scola there? No, he wasn't. No,
Cola.
he was rocking through his
I don't
pocket.
think so.
No,
Yeah, I don't
but he
think
was
so.
anyway. But also with the coaching tree, a lot of coaches came from the Pop tree, right?
Oh yeah.
We,
Yeah.
we all know how great, but as great as Phil Jackson was, his coaching tree is not
Limited.
that something to brag about.
No, no, it's not. Yeah.
The Pop tree has been really where the great coaches
Right.
come from.
Yeah.
Now,
I
speaking.
think a lot of yeah. Sorry about that.
No, no,
I
no.
think a lot of reason why the Phil Jackson coaching tree isn't as as impressive is because Phil Jackson preaches a triangle,
Yep.
and you can only it can only work if you also have a good teacher.
Yeah.
Derek Fisher, Brian Shaw, those coaches who were under Phil Jackson coaching tree weren't as good of a of preachers of the offense
Yeah.
as Phil Jackson and Tex Winter were.
It's not. It's yeah. It's
Yeah.
just not. It's just on a different
Yeah.
level. I think you have
Yeah.
to have a certain level of just craziness, I guess,
Right.
in order to be able to execute
Yeah.
all that stuff.
Right.
That coaching tree has kind of suffered. Now, speaking
Yeah.
of coaching tree, I want to play a game with you right now, just in
Yeah.
honor of Greg Popovich and the playoffs.
Right.
So there's only been a handful. There's actually 7 coaches in NBA history
Mm.
that have won more than 100 games in the playoffs.
Oh, okay.
I'm not asking. I'm not gonna ask you to rank them,
Okay.
but just name the 7. How about that?
Name the
Because-
7. Okay.
Yeah.
All right. Let's see.
So I'll tell you. So you
Um,
give me a name, and then I'll tell you which part of the ladder they
Sure.
fall into.
Yeah. All right. Let's do it. Okay. Pat Riley.
Okay, Pat Riley's number 3. You got him. Yep.
Pat Riley's number 3.
He
So
had-
this aside from Pop and Phil.
You got to name everyone. There's 7
Right.
names in here. So Pat Riley has
Okay.
171 wins.
Right. Okay. So Phil
Phil, obviously number 1, 229.
number 1. Pop.
Pop is Pat Riley's actually number 2. Pop is number 3. He's 170.
Oh.
100. He won one game less.
Right.
Yep.
Uh,
So that's 3 out of
okay.
7.
George Carl.
Nope. Not on
Nope.
there.
Lenny Wilkins.
Nope.
Wow. Over 100 games.
Yes, these coaches have won over 100 games in the playoffs. So you got 3 out of the
Red?
7 so far. Sorry, was that?
Red is Red there?
No.
No, because like that was the time when playoffs were like 8 games.
Yeah, so he's not there.
Yeah.
Winning percentage, he's
Um,
there. Yes.
winning percentage is there. Yeah,
Yeah.
yeah, yeah. Let's see who else. Ooh, wow, over 100 games won.
I'll give you a hint.
Uh-huh.
So, oh, the three were in the playoffs this year. This year.
3 were in the playoffs this
Yep.
year. Um, let's see. I'm trying to Thib.
Nope. Not Thibs.
Oh, not Thib. Um, let's see. They were in the playoffs.
They
Steve
were.
Kerr.
Kerr's number was he's on there.
Steve
He's
Kerr.
got 104.
Yeah. Oh, just barely made it.
Barely made it.
Um, Tai Lu?
Nope.
No, no, no. Let's see. Who else was in the playoffs this year? I'm trying to
Uh,
look at the coaches.
you
Yeah.
this
Oh,
one.
J Kid.
Nope. Jenkins not there.
No, not J Kid. Oh wow.
I'll give
Um.
you another hint.
Okay.
So this guy is
Oh. And now I know. Spo.
exposed there. Yes, he was the hint I
Spo's
was
there.
gonna
Yeah.
give. Right. You got two more.
Yeah. Yeah. Spo's there. Okay. Who else? Definitely not the.
I'll give you a hint.
Oh,
This,
Rick.
no, he
Rick
barely
Carlisle.
made. He's got a 90 something, I think.
Oh
I'll give you
wow.
another hint. I'll give you another hint.
Okay.
This
Yeah.
guy has a very specific voice. He's a very
Mm.
unique voice. He had a son who played in the NBA as well.
Ooh. Okay. Very unique voice. Oh wow. Doc Rivers.
Yes, Doc Rivers, 114.
Yeah.
That's
One
6
one
out of the
four.
7.
That's 6 out of 7. Okay.
The last
So
one.
we're missing number who? Number what?
You're missing. I think he's just barely made this list. He has 100 wins in the playoffs.
100.
I'll give you a hint.
Hmm.
He's coached. No, I don't want to say that. He won one of the best NBA finals. I mean, one of the best NBA finals as far as merit is concerned. He's only
As
won
far
one
as,
title, but
as far
that
as merit.
yeah, he's won one title, but that he's also a great college coach, by the way.
Larry Brown.
Larry Brown is that the
Larry
last
Brown.
one. 100 wins.
Yeah.
So those are the 7
Yeah.
ones. Yeah.
Uh,
so you got Phil Jackson with number 1. Number 2 is Pat Riley. Phil Jackson has 229.
yeah.
Pat Riley with 171.
171.
Pop with 170.
Pop.
And then you got Spo. Oh, sorry, you got
Spo.
Doc Rivers. Doc Rivers
Doc
is
Rivers.
number 4, 114.
Uh-huh.
And then Spo has 110.
Oh. Mm-hmm.
You got Steve Kerr with 104, which is crazy given how
Yeah.
short he's been coaching.
Yeah.
He's only been coaching for, 10 years?
Yeah. But
then you
he's
got-
always in the playoffs.
So he's in the and you got Larry Brown with 100. So
Larry
those are
Brown.
the 7 ones. Nice.
Interesting.
Right. Now, we wanted to talk about tagging earlier. Now, this is going to be... I want to put some tinfoil hats on for a moment, if
Right.
I may. We had the NBA draft lotto recently happen.
Right.
Okay. Now, there's a lot of talk about that, given the fact of what the results were.
Mm.
Okay, so let's just recap what happened there. So, the Dallas Mavericks got the number 1. This is essentially the Cooper Flag draft, right? So anybody who's going to be drafting first in this draft would essentially be drafting Cooper Flag. That's just how it is. Coming into the game, coming into the lottery, right? So we all know that they've changed the lottery rules recently.
Mhm.
So before the changes, I think the top 3, I think it was weighted. So obviously, if you got the worst record, you get the best odds, the most odds to win, blah blah blah.
Yeah.
But
Right.
what they did recently is that they've flattened the odds. So what happens now is that the 3 worst teams, as far as records are concerned, get an equal chance to
Of getting the
get the
pick.
first pick. They have 14% chance of getting the first pick, 13.4% chance of getting the second pick, and then 12.7 chance of getting the third pick. And that's just how it is. So those 3 teams are the Jazz, the Wizards, and the Hornets.
And the Hornets, yeah.
Right. So what happened is that the first pick went to the Dallas Mavericks. Really, okay. The second pick went to the
Yeah.
Spurs.
First,
Right. The third pick went to the Sixers.
Sixers, yeah.
And then here's the thing, right? So the three teams that we just mentioned, who had the biggest
Right.
odds to get the first pick, are in order:
Mm-hmm.
Jazz, the Wizards, and sorry, the Hornets, the Jazz, and the Wizards.
Wow.
So the Jazz essentially got the fifth pick, which is the
Yeah.
worst scenario for them. This is the lowest pick they can
Yeah.
get,
Right.
right? The Jazz can get from 1 to 5, and they got 5.
Forgot.
The Hornets essentially moved up to 4,
Yep.
and then obviously you got the Wizards at 6. Now,
Right.
a lot of people are saying a lot about this. Now,
Yeah.
what do you think of? First of all, what do you think about the draft? What do you think about Cooper Flag's fit in the Dallas Mavericks system?
First thing that came into my mind was look at that lineup next year. I mean, Kyrie's still gonna be out, but hey, we have Derek Lively probably playing, at the 5, AD at the 4, Cooper Flag at 3, Clay
Woo,
at 2.
woo,
So
woo.
talk about a pretty stacked team.
That's pretty stacked, man. I mean, if
Yeah.
if Kyrie doesn't come, obviously Kyrie's gonna be gone for a while. I don't think he's
Right.
gonna. I don't think he's
Yeah.
gonna play the next season regardless.
next
Anyway.
not.
I think he's out as well.
Yeah.
So they're probably gonna run either Dante Exum there. They might run Spencer Dinwiddie. Dude, they might even go crazy and have Max Christie start. I don't know.
Oh,
I'm
hey, yeah, why not?
I'm guessing they're gonna
Yeah.
probably run Dinwiddie there as what they did
Mhm.
before. But yeah, man, that team is stacked. They still
Yep.
remember they still have Daniel Gafford off the bench now,
Yep.
and we just mentioned Dante Exum off the bench,
Right.
Max Christie off the bench.
Yeah.
You know what? I think this Dallas team has, and our friends Miggs and Powell are probably stoked,
Yeah.
right? Just
That's
to
some good news coming out of Big D.
right. So they got their future piece,
Mhm.
and that's just great for them. But
Yeah.
also, if you think about it, the Spurs did something great as well. They have Wemby.
Yep.
They just Wemby was Rookie of the Year 2 years ago.
Yeah.
They drafted
Stephon
Stephon
Castle.
Castle,
Yep.
Rookie of the Year this year.
Mhm.
They got De'Aaron Fox,
Yeah.
right? I think they have Harrison Barnes as well. They are pretty stacked
Pretty
themselves.
stacked too. Yeah.
So
So wait, Stephon Castle is essentially a 2, right, or a 3?
well, I think he can play point guard if they wanted to.
Point guard
It
too,
shouldn't
yeah.
matter. I mean, they have De'Aaron
Yeah.
Fox there, so that's cool.
Right.
But
Uh,
the number 2 pick is projected to be
Dylan Harper.
Kababayan, Dylan Harper,
Yep.
right? So, um, I think. Look, the question now becomes, if you're the Spurs, there's a guy who's probably going to be available, who probably wants to leave his current team. I don't know, some Greek guy, right? Some big 6'10" Greek guy who just lost in the playoffs. There's some rumors that he might want to leave that team.
Mhm.
Do you think the Spurs go for this? Do you think they? It's probably gonna cost. Okay, so here's the thing. It's probably gonna cost them at the very least that number 2 pick.
Right.
And take note, they have the number 14th pick as well. They have 2 lottery picks in this draft.
Wow.
Okay,
Wow.
they have a ton of assets they can trade.
Mhm.
I'm guessing. I'm guessing it's either gonna be a combination of those picks. Maybe the Aaron Fox is on his way out. I don't know.
Right.
So, what do you think?
Huh.
Should the San Antonio Spurs go out and get that big Greek guy, that Greek freak, and put him into this San Antonio system?
I will go out on a limb and say no.
Interesting.
Number one, just because him and Wemby have the same play type.
Right.
They're both long. They're both, Wemby's 7'4", he's 6'10", 6'11". They both essentially play the same way. If I were RC Buford, if I were Pop, I would keep the number 2. You have the pieces. You have a great 1-2 punch in Wemby and Darren Fox. You have Stephon Castle, who's coming into his own, and then you have 2 pieces, who's most likely going to be Dylan Harper, another number 14 pick, And you're looking at a team that if you keep for the next 3 or 4 years, is gonna make some noise.
Mm.
So, and it's not because I'm a Laker fan, but I will. If I were the Spurs, I would say uh, keep those picks. Build that core. Um, I mean, if I'm a Laker fan, I wouldn't say no if they do pursue Giannis. But I mean, knowing the Spurs, like knowing how they build their teams, they're they're the type of team that that builds through the draft. We
Right.
saw it. And, Tim Duncan came in '97. David Robinson's on his way out. Avery Johnson on his way out. Sean Elliott on his way out. Then they draft Tony Parker. They draft Ginobili. And essentially built that team, through the draft and through, just Pop fight. Like again, I mentioned earlier, Pop finding those diamonds in the rough. So I think, if I was the Spurs, yeah, I would keep it and just build that core.
I actually agree. I think the best route for the Spurs is just to keep going with this rebuild. The reason
Yeah,
being, Giannis is 31, bro.
right.
He's obviously on a different timeline with what your core is right now.
Right.
I think you keep the pick
Hmm.
Harper. Obviously, that's going to be the play,
Right.
and that creates essentially redundancy in your point guard spot. Right? Don't
Mm.
be like the Sacramento Kings and don't select Harper because you already have De'Aaron Fox.
Yeah.
Okay, they're gonna select Dylan Harper for sure, and I
Hmm.
think the best move for them is to shop De'Aaron Fox.
Right.
Try to turn him into something else right now. And
Yeah.
right now they're projected to take obviously Dylan Harper, and they're projected to as far as ESPN is concerned, they're targeting to select Carter Bryant from Arizona, small forward,
Mm.
power forward,
I
or
think it's looking good.
I don't want to butcher his name. He's a French dude, Noah Asong. Maybe that's how you pronounce his name.
Mm.
He's probably friends with Wemby for some reason.
Yeah.
Definitely 6'9" guy.
Mm.
That's gonna be a great fit next to him. I mean, this is also an international dude, so that's a Spurs pick for sure.
Yeah.
But I think getting Giannis is just gonna be horrible for them because it forces them to win now, and I don't think
Yeah.
the Spurs have always positioned themselves to go all in.
No, they're not. They're not that type of team.
So you've mentioned they've always preached patience,
Yeah.
and I think
I
they're going to be
mean,
patient with this.
at the expense of having one bad season, two bad
Yeah,
seasons. Uh, the reason they got Tim Duncan in the first place was because David Robinson went down 96, 97.
yeah,
They won like 20
we're
games.
going to talk about that in a bit too.
Yeah.
Yeah, but yeah, it's.
Uh,
I think the best move is to just keep the pick.
right.
Probably package Darren Fox in the 14th pick. Try
Right.
to get an upgrade somewhere
Mm.
in your front court
Yep.
because you're gonna be good, man. You're gonna have Dylan Harper, Stephon Castle in the backcourt.
Mm.
You can probably keep Harrison Barnes there.
Right.
And then you have Wemby, and you can pair him with another center if you want, or you can move
Another power
Wemby to
forward.
the
Yeah.
you can move Wemby to the center spot full time. There's a
Yeah.
lot of things you can do, but
Mm.
as far as even if I want to see them spam Giannis and Wemby pick and rolls,
Uh,
which is gonna be I think so overpowered. I don't know
yeah.
if anybody can stop that.
Right.
Um, y- the biggest thing about, as I said, is Giannis's age. He's the timeline of
Yeah.
the Spurs is not for this. And
Right.
if I'm Milwaukee, I'm gonna ask for both Stephon Castle and Dylan Harper, which probably will favor the Spurs. Really, I don't
No,
want to
no,
do that.
no. Yeah.
Right? So I don't
Yeah.
want to give you both. I can.
Mhm.
The best case if they do trade for Giannis is that they only give up either Dylan Harper or
Or Stephon Castle.
Stephon
Yeah.
Castle, not both. Right? If they
Yeah.
can get Giannis while giving up only one of those, then maybe that's a trade you can make. But
Right.
I don't know if Milwaukee's gonna go for that, so that's why they gotta scrap that idea and just
Yeah.
build. Man, they're gonna be so
Yeah.
good in the future.
Yeah.
I think that's gonna be the next dynasty.
Right.
And again, the Spurs are gonna be real
It's a
scary
matter
soon.
of yeah. It's a matter of patience. Yeah.
Right. Now, he talked about the draft odds. Now,
Right.
there's been a crazy trend, and
Oh.
let's line it up, right? So,
Mhm.
uh, the they the draft lottery happens because they don't want to give outright the worst team the first pick. So
Right.
the NFL does that, right? I remember the
Right.
NFL does that. They just give you the worst pick outright if you just are the worst
Right.
team.
Yeah.
That's
If we're the
fine.
worst team,
But
yeah. Hmm.
but the NBA
And so
wants
I remember that that game where um we were the Rams. I think it was the Super Bowl year where we were on a tear, and then we played the 1-11 Jets, I think, and then we lost to them. And I'm like, yeah, you guys beat us, but now you don't get Trevor Lawrence.
that's
So
crazy, right?
who was gonna be the number one pick that year.
That's crazy.
So,
I mean, yeah, it's typical Jets shit, man. It's just how it is.
yeah,
I mean, that's how the Jets work.
right.
I mean, what's the name of that guy again? I forgot. Nick,
Aaron Rodgers? No.
no. Who's the one that went after Trevor Lawrence in that draft?
Oh, oh, what's his name?
I forgot what his name is, man.
Yeah.
Is it bad that I remember the fact that his mom is really hot?
Oh, Trevor Lawrence?
No. The second pick.
Oh, oh, the second pick. Um,
The
man,
second.
who was?
So the second pick was Zach Wilson. There you go. Zach
Zach
Wilson.
Wilson. There you go.
Right?
Yeah, that's
I don't
yeah.
even remember his name, but I remember his mom is really hot. Okay, that's like one of the goats of draft moms right there. That's just I remember more about his mom than him really. I know he's flamed out, right? I know he's
Right.
gone. It's just
Yeah.
unfortunate for him, but the three things I remember from that draft is one, Trevor Lawrence, obviously number one pick.
Right.
Two, Zach Wilson's mom is really hot.
Uh-huh.
And obviously the Niners moving up to select Trey Lance, which is come on now.
Right.
I don't really want to talk
Yeah.
about that. I'm sorry.
Yeah.
It just hurts me to talk
Yeah.
about Trey Lance.
Yeah.
But that's just how it is. So typical Jet
Uh,
stuff to do that. I get it. But
yeah.
the NBA has a lotto for a reason. They don't want
Mhm.
blatant tanking. They don't
Yeah.
want people to just lose games on purpose.
Right.
They don't want and the reason why they even changed the rules, they flattened the odds is because of
Mhm.
I'm guessing probably because of the process.
The tanking too.
Yeah, right? They don't want just
Yeah.
blatant tanking. They
Yeah.
want you to be competitive at least. But
Right.
here's the thing. The the ones that are in the crosshairs here. So we have the Hornets, we have the Jazz,
Hmm.
right? Those are small market teams,
Right.
right? And the Wizards, obviously, those are small market
Mhm.
teams. And let's face it, the only chance they have of getting elite talent is through the draft.
Yeah.
No free agent is gonna come in those teams,
No.
right?
No.
The only reason why the Hornets got LaMelo is because they drafted him, and the
Right.
Warriors were dumb enough to pass on LaMelo in the
Hmm.
first place, right? Wizards are the same; they've been horrible forever, right?
Yep.
And the Jazz, I mean, dude, who wants to live in Utah, bro? Sorry,
Yeah.
you know what I'm saying? But again, the point is, no one is going to willingly come to those teams
Hmm.
unless it's through a draft. And
Yeah.
these odds just essentially screwed those small market teams over.
You're right.
What do you think
Yeah.
about that? Are these odds fair? Really?
Uh, man. I mean, like,
What's the argument is really you don't want people tanking blatantly,
yeah.
but you also want to give these smaller teams a chance to get talent. So, what do you think is
Right.
the best? Is there a solution to this? Because I don't think it's as fair at all.
It's not. No, it's not fair at all because, like I mean, that's the reality. Like the free agent market is tailored for players to to want to move to big name, big city teams. the only real, yeah, like you mentioned, the only real legit way for small market teams to kind of develop a winning team is through through the draft. And basically, though, I don't, it's like, is it even, are there even, like, this is what I'm thinking, like, with this, this trend that you're about to mention, are there even odds in the first place?
We're gonna
You
get to
know?
that. We're gonna get to that.
You know?
We're gonna get to that. It's
Yeah.
again, I understand why the NBA did it, right? You
Hmm.
don't want people to just try to lose games on purpose, blatantly.
Right. Yeah.
But at the same
Yeah.
time, you want to give these teams a chance. But what
Yeah.
happened here is that the team with the 10th best odds got the first pick,
Right.
right? And then you got San Antonio, who had a 6% chance of getting a second pick. They got that pick,
They got the second pick. Yeah.
right? And it's crazy how this all unfolded. If I were
Right.
the Jazz, the Wizards, and the Hornets, I'd be so pissed
Right.
because this is their chance to get a player, right?
Yeah.
And
Oh, he went.
the,
Yeah.
yeah,
Yeah. Go ahead. Go ahead.
no, go.
I mean, I was just gonna ask, when was the last time the Wizards got the number one pick?
Was it John Wall?
John Wall.
I
John
think it's
Wall.
John
Yeah.
Wall.
Yeah.
And the
last time
Hornets never got the
number one
first pick ever.
Never.
Never got the first pick.
Not even when the NBA owned them.
Right? Never.
Yeah.
The Jazz, I'm not sure.
No, I don't think so.
I don't think they've got maybe. No. I don't think they've gotten the first pick ever really
No,
as
I
well.
don't think so. Yeah.
So
Mm.
it's kind of let's segue to this next point, right? Because
Yeah.
this is getting kind of weird. So
Yeah.
we all know the Dallas Mavericks got the first pick, and
Yeah.
let's frame it in such a way that it last year was it Atlanta who got the first pick? Zachary Ricochet was Ricochet was Atlanta, right? That's the first
Right.
pick.
Yeah.
So last year was a pretty weak draft, right? A lot of people
Yeah.
were saying that the 2024 draft was a weak one.
One of the
They,
weakest.
that went
Yeah.
to Atlanta, and Zachary Ricochet wasn't really heralded. There was no clear guy in that team,
There was no clear number one. Yeah.
bro. Stephon Castle was picked fourth, right?
Yeah.
Reed Shepard, third, was a flop.
Reed Shepard. Yeah.
Alex Sarr was second. You never
Yeah.
knew. I mean, he's a project. There was no
Yeah.
clear player in that team. Sorry, in that draft. There's
Right.
just not a clear dude who's gonna get that. And
Yeah.
but the thing is, Atlanta was also, I think, Atlanta only had a 3% chance of winning that, and they did.
And
Right.
they did. Yeah.
The lottery teams there in that year were the Pistons, Wizards, Pistons, Wizards, and Hornets, the same dudes
Yeah.
that we're talking about now. And
Right.
Wizards got the second pick, right?
Mm-hmm.
So it's just, look, man, I'm just questioning how real this draft is.
Right.
Look, I know
It was
that
a lottery. Yeah.
I know that this is being handled by a credible company. Ernst and Young
Right.
is a very credible
Yeah.
company, right? And they're the ones handling this lottery process.
Mm-hmm.
I don't think, logically speaking, there's any incentive for them to rig this.
Mm-hmm.
But hey, man, crazier things have happened in this world.
Oh, yeah.
We don't know how deep this rabbit hole goes, but
Mhm.
if we list down the scenarios, and I'm just gonna get the first one out of the way,
Right.
the Patrick Ewing draft.
Oh,
right.
the Knicks. Oh,
The Knicks,
Yeah, yeah.
Patrick Ewing, Knicks hometown, right? He was Knicks needed a star. Patrick Ewing from Jamaica, right? New York is the best fit for him,
Right.
and that was I believe the cold folder one, was it?
Mhm.
I think the conspiracy theory there was the folder that they were selecting folders, and that was what determined the first pick.
Oh, yeah.
So David Stern knew. They say that David Stern knew what the Knicks folder was because it was either folded or it was cold, right?
Right.
So let's get that out of the way. But let's get into the lottery scenario now. You got LeBron James in 2003,
Yeah.
hometown Cleveland boy,
Hometown.
right?
Yeah.
2003, one of the biggest drafts in history, one of the best draft classes.
Right.
And just so happens that the hometown team got the hometown boy. I don't know about that. Even LeBron James came out and said something similar.
Yeah.
All right, and then you had Derrick Rose, the Derrick Rose draft,
Yep.
right? Derrick Rose, hometown
Yeah.
Chicago boy. went to the Bulls. Crazy.
Yep.
And then here's the real things now. So LeBron left Cleveland, and
In
guess who got the number 1 pick the next time?
2010, Cleveland.
Cleveland got the number 1 pick. They select
Andrew Wiggins.
right. They got Wiggins
Yep.
there. Okay. So no. That was the second time. When the first I believe the first that was Kyrie draft. When LeBron left Cleveland.
Kyrie.
Yeah, the first one was
Yeah.
Kyrie, right?
Yeah.
And the second time when LeBron wanted to go back to Cleveland,
Mhm.
the Cleveland Cavaliers, for some reason they got the number 1 pick again.
Number pick again. Yep.
Which they used to trade for Kevin Love in order
Right.
for LeBron James to come back. Crazy. You got the Pelicans, owned by the NBA at the time.
Right.
When they traded Chris Paul. They traded Chris Paul to the Clippers. And who got the number 1 pick next year? That became Anthony Davis. Who got the first pick?
Yep.
New Orleans. Bang. And the Pelicans, speaking of the Pelicans, they traded Anthony Davis to the Lakers.
The Lakers.
Guess who got the number 1 pick the next time around?
Zion.
That became Zion. New Orleans Pelicans got it. And now you got the Dallas Mavericks trading Luka in one of the most, not even the most. It's probably the most controversial trade in NBA history.
Right.
For some reason, out of 10th
Number 1
place,
pick.
they got Cooper Flag, number 1
Oh
pick.
man.
What are we supposed, man? Look, I don't want to say
What are we
it's rigged.
supposed to think? Yeah.
What are we supposed to think, man?
Yeah.
Right? Do you think the process is legitimate, by the way? What are your thoughts?
I mean, granted that Ernst and Young, they're a credible, they have a credible machinery, and they're a credible organization, but I don't think it's too. You can say that something is a coincidence if it happens like once or twice over.
Yep.
4 or 5 times. That's
And take note, these are drafts that have impactful players.
impact. Exactly.
These aren't
once
these
in a
aren't shitty
generation
drafts.
players. Yeah.
These aren't shitty drafts. These are
Yeah.
players that actually make a difference.
Right.
I don't know, man. Look, I don't want to say this. A part of me wants to listen to reason here, but a part of me just sees these coincidences and I don't know, thinks differently.
Right.
Like I hope it's not right. I don't want to see the integrity of this game suffer. We
Suffer. Exactly. Yeah.
there's already a lot of controversy when it comes to refereeing and all that, and I don't want
Think
to
about it
see.
also though.
Yeah.
Another thing that we kind of forgot to mention. When Michael Jordan retired, 93, 94. That was Jordan was on his way out. Shaq was the rising star, the once in a generation player for Orlando. Got him with the first pick, 92, 93. Barely missed the playoffs in Shaq's rookie year.
Yeah.
93, 94, Jordan steps away. They had the worst chance. Well, granted, the lottery happened, before Jordan retired, but
Yep.
with Shaq as a once in a generational prospect, they had the worst odds to get the number 1 pick that year, but they got it again. They used it to pick Chris Webber and traded him to Golden State for Penny Hardaway.
Penny Hardaway, yeah.
And then that, like the dynasty that never was, man.
Hey, man.
Yeah.
It is what it is.
Yeah.
That was a great documentary, by the way. I don't know if you watched it on
This Magic
ESPN.
Moment?
Yeah, This Magic Moment.
One of my
is pretty-
favorites.
It's pretty,
One of my favorites.
It's pretty great.
Yeah.
I look, as I'm happy
They
that
framed it with the ping pong balls,
I'm so happy that the Lakers got Shaq, but Penny and Shaq just were on a different level. It's unfortunate that they just ran
Yeah.
into Hakeem.
Yeah.
But
And a vengeful Jordan.
it's just a horrible time for them. But
Yeah.
it is what it is. That's just how the ping pong balls bounce.
Yeah.
Now, let's move away from the NBA a little bit.
Right.
I don't. I don't think it's rigged, Brett. I don't want to believe that.
No,
Let's see.
no.
But it's just fun to talk about this stuff.
Yeah.
But let's speaking of draws, right? So recently, I know a lot of people in North America don't really care about the FIBA World Cup.
Mm,
Just as much as the football World Cup is happening next year,
yeah.
but the basketball
Yeah.
World Cup is happening the year after,
Right.
2027. It's happening in Qatar, and what they did
Mm,
was that they just had a draw to determine what happens in the Asian qualifying tournament.
mm, right.
So what happens there is that I believe there's 8 spots that allotted to FIBA Asia in
Right.
this case, where
Asia.
us
How many
Philippines
teams are
belong.
there total in the World Cup?
Was it 64? I'm not sure. So there's so they're doing
Wow.
qualifying
Mhm.
for the Asian side of the draw really. So
Right.
there's
Yeah.
18 sorry, 8 spots that are available to 32. There's 32 teams, by the way.
There are two teams.
Yeah, so 8 of those are from Asia. So they're
Mm,
trying to do the qualifying now to the lead up to that 2027 tournament,
right.
right? So that's gonna happen in Qatar in the 27th of August in 2027. Gonna be good. Now, what we are concerned about is the Philippines here. So our
Right.
team, Gilas Pilipinas, unfortunately is in one of the worst worst groups it could. Really,
Right.
it's probably the strongest group in this Asian tournament.
Yeah.
So they're with Australia, which is the
Hmm.
number one.
In
That's
Asia.
ranked
Yeah.
worldwide. Okay,
Right.
I think Australia's top 10, if not mistaken, or
Right.
maybe even top 5
Oh yeah, yeah.
in the world.
Absolutely. Yeah.
Right? You got New Zealand, which is
Hmm.
22, I believe, in the world.
Right.
You got us, the Philippines, 34, and then you
Uh-huh.
got Guam, which is a little bit of a easier. I don't want
Right.
to say that, but easier kind of road. Now,
Mhm.
the format of the tournament really is that they're gonna be playing each other. So Philippines will play Australia, Guam, and New
New
Zealand in
Zealand.
home and away format. There's gonna be 6 games. I'm gonna be
6
stoked
games.
because I'm gonna be watching that
Mhm.
here for sure.
Right.
I'm gonna try to catch a lot of the games when
Mhm.
they play it here. Obviously, Australia and Philippines are the ones I want to watch.
Yep.
So the top 3 in that group, whoever wins, the best records and all that in the points table, will
Mm.
move on to the next round where they will
Uh-huh.
determine the top 3 in that group will qualify for the tournament.
Right.
So the story here is that the Philippines is not gonna be with Kai Soto, their
Right.
best center, the number 1 center in the Philippines. He's recovering from a torn ACL.
Mhm.
I wish him. We wish him the best. Really, I hope he gets back. This
Yep.
team is much more potent with him.
With him. Yep.
Now we're gonna discuss the reinforcements in another day, but
Right.
I just wanna highlight something here. So I forgot what year it was, but there was a notable situation between Australia and the Philippines. Notable in
Oh
such a
my
way
God,
that
yeah.
notable in such a way that yeah, it's really infamous. There was a
Yeah.
brawl that happened. There was a brawl that happened between. They were playing a game in the Philippines,
Yep.
and then essentially a brawl happened, and then
Mhm.
the Philippines got suspended, I believe, for a year to sort their shit out.
Yeah. Wow.
Yeah, they got suspended for that, and that was just crazy. So I actually have the video lined up. Let's. I haven't
Yeah.
seen this in a while.
Right.
Let's have a look. So, look, I'm not condoning fighting in a basketball
Yeah.
game, but I just gotta say that this was some funny shit. Let's have a
Yeah.
look. Let's have a look. So, let's have a look. So thanks to this channel for this. Let's have a
Yeah.
look. Let's try that out.
Kids from downtown.
So as you can see, Philippines are essentially. Let's
Yeah.
move forward.
Yeah.
They're cooked. They're down 31, third quarter, 409. I mean, Philippines never really stood a chance here, obviously.
Right.
They're not
Mhm.
going to beat Australia. Okay.
No.
Even if they got all their best players on the team, the Philippines,
Right.
they're never going to beat Australia. It's just not going to happen. Australia's just too good. Even the Australian B team will beat the
Right.
Philippines, okay?
And I think this was their B team. Honestly, I think because there's no Patty Mills. There's no.
Oh yeah, there's no NBA players here. There's no NBA
yeah,
players.
yeah.
No. I think it's a combination of their A team and their B team, but they're missing their NBA players here.
Yeah.
So that's just how it is. So obviously, as you can see, they're down big, 31 points in the third quarter. It's essentially done.
Yeah.
And then
Chris Golding. Well, it's just a great play again. Chris
oh,
Golding really
you see that? He just elbowed the guy.
ran over the top of that screen to the keyway.
Body checked him. Oh!
Then came back the other way.
Jumar? Yeah.
The Jumar was there. Look at it. Look at it.
Chris Golding
He elbowed the defender,
really
and then
over
the defender retaliates. Oh, they bump into each other.
Yeah.
the screen to the keyway.
Body checked him, and then you got this guy.
Yeah.
Oh, dude, he decked him. He decked him with the forearm, and then this is it. Boom! Look at that, he jumped.
Happening now. Oh,
That's fine,
This is where shit goes down.
oh my.
bro. This is crazy. Look at it. Thon Maker with a flying knee.
Punches, kicks, stands.
Oh my goodness.
This is out of control.
Oh, this is the Australian feed as well. Oh, dang!
now,
All right.
now we have a brawl. Yeah.
Look, there's a brawl in the stats. I believe the coaches got involved in this.
The coaches got involved. Yeah.
Yep. It's never gonna fall into the crowd because they're not gonna do it. But look at that.
Aussie on the ground there.
There's Luke Longley right there.
Calvin Abueva, the beast. Obviously, he's gonna fight. Oh, that's Luke Longley with the glasses, right?
Disgraceful, deplorable, abhorrent scenes in the Philippines.
Bro, that's great. Look at the security doesn't know what to do.
Assaulted.
Yeah.
They just
Are you kidding me? And again, we couldn't get a camera angle.
That's
but
insane.
There must have been 15 or 20 Filipino players around Nathan Sobey and Chris Golding. You saw Luke Longley run from one end of the
Delhi's
court
there.
to be able to stick
Yeah.
up for his teammates. This is disgraceful. Shane, I have never seen anything like this in all my
Andre
years covering
Blatch.
professional
There was
sport involving Australian
there was
teams.
something controversial that
Well,
went
you've got to go back to
on
that time
before
out
this
from the
game,
Filipino coach,
where I think the
emotion and the way he
Australians
challenged his
wanted
players.
to remove those
And you've seen
advertising
there's been a bit of
decals.
niggle all the way along.
Yeah,
There
but
was an
it doesn't
unsportsmanlike
really
foul
justify
that
that.
Yeah.
that started
I know.
this.
Fine, whatever,
Was
whatever,
nothing
man.
but a
Absolutely not.
disgraceful play.
And there was
against the Aussies.
in the pregame, I
Look,
believe that
serious
Calvin
penalties for
Abueva
this.
was already
This is
instigating.
really bad.
There was a video
Look,
before, I think in the
never seen
lineup,
anything
in the
like
warm-ups, that he was already instigating. This was
Right.
brewing for a long time.
international
Yeah.
You know,
tournament.
it's Bigote.
And the game continued.
He was.
Well, I'm not
It was
sure
brewing
what
for a
happens
while.
from
It
here.
wasn't. It didn't
Yeah.
happen
No, but you look at
in a
Chris
heartbeat.
Golding
It
there.
just
No,
was.
no, it didn't. Yeah.
You look at
The
some
game
of
was
the
physical,
players what
and
they've
there was
pumped
some
and
shit
the amount
happening
of
in the back,
punches
and
kicks
Yeah.
you know.
and the mindset that this Filipino team attacked the Australians with.
Okay, this
It's
is
disgraceful.
okay. There's a lot of bias in the.
You raised a very
against
good
the
point.
Australian. Look at that.
Right.
Took the time out from the Philippines.
Okay, that was an elbow. That was intentional. That was
Yeah.
To
intentional.
hit the
course,
Australians.
yeah.
I
Bigote
didn't actually
intentional
think
elbow.
He meant it.
And then body check. Okay,
And
fine.
that's where it started.
Right.
Just on that
And then-
offensive foul here.
Boom!
From Chris Golding.
Boom.
Damn.
Cheap play from Pickett, who's come in from the sideline after this as well. And that's cheap from the Filipino to start with. Pickett's come in
Blatch
and
was
stuck up for
oh my
his
God.
teammates. And
Jason Castro.
Blatch
Look
should
at that.
be
Oh
fine for
shit.
throwing such a soft punch anyway. But have a
There's
look at these
Romeo
flying
getting it.
punches
I think it
and
was
kicks.
Romeo. He was punching.
Romeo.
He
Yeah.
punched. There you go. He blindsided Thon Maker, and he was
Never
running
seen anything
away.
like it, particularly in a world event.
It was Jason
What I'm
Castro who
worried
did
about is on the other
the
side,
Superman
back over
punch.
there where we saw Sobey.
Look at that. The coaches are fighting.
my
Was that John
goodness.
Wichiko?
Unbelievable, Shane.
Wow.
Sickening. Chairs thrown. Look how many
Oh, that is
players are on top of
unfortunate.
those Australians.
Yeah.
Boom. Man, that
Uncalled
forearm
for
was
response
crazy.
From Daniel Kickett, but that
Kickert.
no doubt after
Looked at it too. I was
was
gonna try to.
instigated by
Oh, no.
the contact by the Filipinos on Chris Golding. And then that's actually
He did try Superman.
Andre Blatch.
A lot
I
of
mean,
jumping.
there
Look
are
up how
usually
Bueva trying to fly
described
kick.
as coward attacks of people looking a different
way.
Ooh,
There are
my
elbows.
goodness. There's the
and
Thon
knees
Maker with
to
a flying
head.
knee, two of them.
You know, Thon Maker is out of line for flying through the air with feet first. But look at that.
Romeo with the blind
Romeo
man, punch
Yeah.
back in the
punch
head.
to the
Maker,
back of the
look at
head
him,
of a
bro.
man.
Look at, he used the screen. He used the
Well,
screen. He's
looking
getting
at-
around.
Well, we've seen
Uh,
that happen on multiple occasions of guys coming
Yeah,
in
that
and
was a,
punching.
that was a sucker
the
punch
Aussies in
by
the back of the
That
Romeo.
was bad. I mean, look,
That
I'm
was
not gonna
bad.
justify it. Is a fight
What's
already?
going
You know,
on
there's gonna be a
Yeah.
lot
on
of
the
that.
floor there with so many
Look at
players
this dude. What's that?
on the Australians while they were on the ground. Chairs being thrown.
I want to see the coaches fighting, man. I want to see the coaches
Sadly,
fighting.
this will make news around the world.
Damn.
Yeah, no doubt. And when you see
Wow.
somebody like Thon Maker involved in this, leaving the crowd and the officials to move on.
Damn.
There's the contact.
Let's move forward. I want to see the coaches
second one,
fighting.
players.
Who is-
Is your
Yeah.
first reputable film and suggests is most.
Was that
it's just not
Delhi?
what you want to see. in
That was
international
Delhi, yeah.
football. A wild
Delhi.
eruption.
Television.
Shooting it incorrectly.
Okay, he's doing the ejections.
This will
And then I think
And
the
Golding
happened
was
with
next
Philippines is played with 4 players.
Wait, what is it? Why is it cheer?
unbelievable.
The shooting.
Ball do they
shooting.
even
Oh,
play
they still played it.
basketball? Looks
Damn.
like they don't
They
really
still
know
played,
what
but
to
they
do.
had like
Anthony
4
Grimming,
players
do I
left.
shoot it? Why not? Sides right. But the main thing.
I want to see the. I want to see the.
To go.
They didn't show the coaches fighting.
The violent eruption
I
was
want to see.
bad
I want to see
enough.
the. I want to see the coaches fighting. Maybe this has it. I understand. Maybe.
Australia.
See.
31 na lamang.
Okay, so this is the
Pagoy.
Philippine feed.
Goes to
Nice.
Junmar. Di
This
makatira doon si
Philippines
Thon Maker.
commentary now.
Peter.
Wait. Someone threw a chair, bro.
Oh!
Someone threw a chair. What the fuck is that?
Oh my goodness.
Was that the Delhi? Oh no, it was someone threw a fucking
Peter's
chair.
there.
Someone threw a chair. Wow.
I was about to say that earlier.
Oh wow.
Stuff here is that. So you know. This is a. Here's RR.
Okay, alright, okay.
Down. Oh, Kickert now getting the brunt.
That's it. I want to see this
Yeah.
part.
And Kickert now getting the brunt of the ire of Gilas Pilipinas. There's RR Pagoy going down. Oh, Kickert getting a shot there on the face. The floor.
There you go.
The scuffle on the floor. Hindi natin makita sinong
Jayson Thatcher, he's with a very mild.
The fucking
wow.
coaches are getting into it.
Yeah, the coaches are
You
getting
see
to it.
Andre Black going after. Right, Bruce.
the bumps between Golding and
Oh,
Brazil.
Andrew
Getting
Blatch.
knocked them away.
Andrew Blatch decked that guy.
Yeah, dude. He was really
And
in there.
here's Thon Maker. He's going to throw that flying kick at Derek Romeo.
Oh,
Things just got crazier and crazier. You're gonna need
As
some time to
Kickert
clear
well,
this.
Wow.
Bruce.
dude. That's,
Messi now running away.
all right, that's it up.
Gilas was after Kickert and also Golding. Those
Wow.
That's insane, man. That's insane.
That's crazy.
That's just insane. Look, so what happened there was the Philippines got suspended, essentially.
Yeah.
A lot of players got suspended, and they had to play. So they still had to play Australia, by the way.
Right.
But they had to prove to FIBA that they're capable of hosting
Yeah.
an event.
Yeah.
And so what happened was they played the next game behind closed doors, really.
Oh.
So there were no fans, and that
No
was
fans.
that was it. So look, it's a horrible incident. It shouldn't
Yeah.
have happened. It's unfortunate,
Yep.
but I believe that Australia and Philippines played each other again eventually, and obviously
Right.
nothing happened. So
Yeah.
I hope next time, and Australia's gonna come to the Philippines again, and
Oh, yeah.
I hope it's
Oh,
not
oh,
as
oh.
crazy as
Yeah.
that was,
Yeah.
because that was insane, man.
That
That was
crazy.
insane.
Yeah.
All right, so essentially that's all we have today, and
Right.
we're gonna talk about the playoffs moving forward. There's probably gonna be conference finals when we next meet.
Yeah.
And then we'll just keep watching the games. We have the Knicks
All right.
and the Celtics game 6 tonight.
Mhm. Game 6, yep.
We all know who we're rooting for
See what
that one.
happens.
Go New
Yeah.
York, man. Go New York.
Yep.
All right. New York deserves this.
Yep.
All right. We hope to see the New York Knicks and the Indiana Pacers in the Eastern
In the
Conference
conference
Finals
finals,
this year. That's what we're rooting for.
Yep.
But that's pretty much it. We're gonna leave you for
Right.
now. As always, follow us on our socials on the bottom of the screen, and then thank you for watching. And see you next week.
See you next week.
Peace.